Welcome back to Midwest Access. I'm Viv Williams. So sleep is so important. And we have Dr. Akingbola here from the University of Minnesota to talk to us about how we can get some better sleep and to debunk some common myths about sleeping. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So before we get into the myths, give me just a little rundown on, why is sleep so important? Because people are talking about that these days.
So we all think of sleep as the time of day where we get to rest. I think more importantly, if you think about sleep, the time our body gets to reset, repair, recover, whether it's for our brain, our bones, our muscles, our heart, those sorts of activities happen during sleep. So that's why it's so important.
Okay, so let's talk about some myths. One of the main myths, because I've already heard since a kid, is that everyone needs eight hours of sleep. True or false?
I would say that's false. When we think about how much sleep everyone needs, throughout our life that changes. So from infancy to when we're elderly, our sleep need changes. I would say for adults, for children and adults, I think children need more sleep typically. Adults, as go into our 20s, 30s, 40s, a little bit less sleep, and then and that kind of continues to decline through life. But I would say more importantly, I would focus on making sure that you get enough sleep so that when you wake up, you feel well rested. For some people, that may be 6 hours. For some people, that's 8 hours. But as much sleep as your body can have, and then when you're waking up, making sure that you're feeling well rested.
And so how do you know if you're well rested? That's kind of a strange question.
Yeah.
Because, we're always groggy in the morning and who knows what's going on. But how can you tell? What are some signs that you are getting good sleep before our next myth?
So I would say when you wake up in the morning, if that's an easy process for you. So if you're able to wake up without an alarm, and when you wake up, it's easy for you to get up out of bed and to start your day. I would say signs that your sleep is probably not as good as it could be is you wake up with an alarm, it's a struggle, you snooze for a while, you have to, it takes you 30, 45 minutes to get going in the morning. Those might be signs that you're not sleeping as well as we would like you to.
Okay, so we move on to myth number 2.
Yeah.
A little sip of alcohol or something like that can help settle you down and get you a good night's sleep. True or false?
So alcohol can certainly make it easier for you to fall asleep, but alcohol, once you're asleep, it does disrupt the effectiveness of your sleep. And so we don't recommend alcohol as a sleeping aid for that reason. And then also that just leads to the concern about abuse potential for alcohol. So does it make it easier for you to fall asleep? Yes. Is it recommended for your sleep? No, it's not at all.
Okay. Do you have any other? I've heard that warm milk, a cup of chamomile tea, or something like that. Those things can help get you ready for bed. Is there something that you would recommend? You have?
So I think when we think about things like warm milk and tea, I think what we're really getting at is things that help us relax and to calm us down. And so whether that's tea or warm milk for you, or an activity that helps you relax and take your mind off all your stresses of the day, those are the sorts of things that we recommend, and those things are different for everybody.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to another myth. I want to talk about shift work, that your body can adjust to shift work. True or false?
It's true, but it will be very difficult. Shifting from your normal sleep-wake cycle is doable, but it can take a lot of effort and time and months. It's typically very frustrating for people to do so, and it's not easy, but it is doable. A lot of people definitely struggle with having a new work or school schedule and trying to adjust their sleep schedule to that. It's doable, but lots of effort and very difficult.
And how would you start doing it? Just by setting a bedtime that's at the same time every day, waking up? How do you adjust to it?
So it really depends on which way you're going, and so it'd be very difficult to give like a blanket kind of recommendation, just because whether it's you're shifting up or shifting back, where your original sleep schedule is. So there's a lot of variables that go into play. So it's not a very this is the best way to do that situation, just because of how many different variables there are to consider. So
talk to your physician, right? Your healthcare provider. They can
Yes.
give you some tips. And we're almost out of time, but one last one about sleepwalking. The myth is it's dangerous to wake up a sleepwalker.
I don't believe that myth is to be true. I think more importantly is you want the sleepwalker to be safe. And so if they're, walking towards the door to leave the home, or in the kitchen where there's knives, the stove, you would always want to make sure that the sleepwalker themselves is safe. Always make sure that you yourself are safe, but I think it's more important to make sure the sleepwalker doesn't injure themselves.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Akingbola. And we're going to be talking with you a few more times. You'll get to see him on some other shows. So we will return after this. Thanks.